Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte, I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm back with another video. It has been half a year since my last video, which is so crazy to think about. It was not something I had planned at all, but a lot of stuff have happened the last 6 months, so I wanted to do this get ready with me video and just talk a little bit about it and explain why I haven't been posting. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that in this video, and I figured I would also show off the Poppy Storm palette by Titantium Foxes. It's a relatively new indie brand and this palette is so beautiful. I was so lucky to get it sent in PR and I have been enjoying it so much. You can see that it has some neutrals, it has some cool tones, it has some warm tones, so you can really do a huge variety of looks with this palette. So I'm going to show you some swatches to begin with, then I will just be doing a look, the one I'm wearing right here, while talking a little bit about where I've been for the last 6 months. Now for the look that I'm going to create, I'm going to go for like my favorite colors, which will be this beautiful military green. I'll use this quite deep multi-chrome, and I'll probably use a little bit of these and maybe the light pale yellowy limey color here. And I'll try to use this one for the inner part of my lid. So I'm just gonna start off with this one, and I'm using my Glam Shop brush 022. So it's been such a long time since I've sat down to film, and I'll talk a bit about the different reasons why. It wasn't really intentional at all. It just kind of happened as a lot of stuff were happening during the past 6 months, and it kind of started in, I guess it was November, the end of November or something, when I got COVID and I got super sick, and I don't know if it was just COVID or if I also got a different infection, but I swear I was sick from end of November until almost mid-February, and I had the worst cough and I was just really not feeling well at all. So that was of course one of the reasons why I couldn't film, because I still was going to work. I mean, I was on a sick leave for a few weeks too, but for a while I was like, I have to get back to work. Just going to take the burgundy shade and I'll use it on the lower lash line here. But in the midst of all of that, I mean Christmas break was coming on and we went to Sweden to my mom's house there to stay there, and my mother-in-law had her friend over too from Mexico, so they were visiting from quite far away, and we had just been there for one day, like one night really, and an accident happened because we have a relatively new puppy. We got him in June last year, and for some, like, none of us saw what really happened, but I think he jumped off the bed in a room he wasn't supposed to be in, but he had like opened the door because it wasn't completely shut. But he jumped off the bed and his leg broke, and it was awful. I wasn't really feeling well that day either because I was still sick, and I heard his scream from the other side of the house and it was awful, and we were so far away from the vet, so we had to drive for 3 hours, and it was a holiday too. Now I'm just taking that peach shade. But we found a place that was open and they took his x-ray, and it was clearly a broken bone, and it was actually 2 places where he had fractures, and he was in a lot of pain, and that was just so terrible. I guess we had a little bit of luck in all of that happening because my sister actually lived just 15 minutes away from the vet, which was a blessing in disguise because at least we had somewhere to crash while we were waiting for him to have a surgery the day after. So the surgery went okay, so we ended up going back again after 2 days, I think, because the day after he had the surgery, and then he just had to stay there for a little while they were monitoring him. And it was a very long day, the day that we went back, because somehow our car didn't start, and it was just the worst because I was so looking forward to seeing my puppy again. And it just ended up taking a lot longer to go get him, and then we were driving all the way up to the city where we actually live, which is like a 5-hour drive or something. So we weren't back home until almost midnight that day, with of course our puppy with a broken bone and me being sick, and with visitors of course, because my mother-in-law was still gonna stay for a few weeks. So we were just crashing in our couch to give them more space in our bedroom because we don't have too big of an apartment. And yeah, I didn't exactly get better. I still had my terrible cough, and it was very, very draining to always keep an eye on our puppy. And he wasn't allowed to be jumping or running or doing anything for 2 months. So that was 2 very long months where we had to have him in his cage when we weren't there. And I went back to work even though I was still sick, and it was just very, very rough. But his leg healed, and it's as if nothing happened now. He still has this metal plate that they put into his, or like screwed into his bone with 7 screws. I even have a picture of the x-ray, which is showing how big that metal plate is, because his legs are very small. Or his bones are very small, I guess, because Iggy's do have very long legs, and they do have a very high risk, or they are at a high risk for fractures in their legs because they have such long, thin bones. Now I'm just taking my Pixie Epoxy, and I'm just using a very small amount of it, and I'm going to apply that iridescent shade and the deep multichrome. As I was saying, since the time that he got better, that was end of February I guess, I've really just been focusing on work. And I know I might have mentioned something about it before, but my position there is not a permanent position, it was just a 1-year contract. So right now I'm in the middle of searching for a new job, and I of course hope that I will be able to continue working at the same place I've been at for the last year, because I really love working there, and I can't really picture not being there with my students and stuff for next year. But I'm just crossing all my fingers and legs and everything that I will be able to continue there. But it's also very straining, of course, to not know what will happen next year, or if I'll even have a job, but hopefully everything will turn out alright. But yeah, I think that explains a little bit about why I have not been active on social media. I did post quite a bit on Instagram for a while, but also a bit sporadically, but lately I've just been focusing on work and doing my best, because it's a lot of new stuff to get used to in a position that you haven't had before, so it's like very energy consuming, but also very worth it. But I think I'm done with my eye look. I see that I'll have to add a little bit of green or maybe the red there just to make sure it looks nice and even, and also with the mattes here. But I'll just finish that off camera, I think, and I'll get started with my base makeup. Now I just got my Romand, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's their Zero Cushion, new Zero Cushion foundation in 01 Porcelain 17. and I've been using this maybe the last couple of weeks just because it's very easy to apply. It has this puff and then you just open it. It's a little bit dark as you can see, but I use a very small amount and it's usually more than fine enough. And I just apply a very light layer because if not I feel like it looks a little bit more on top of the skin. So I really try to not apply way too much of it, but it gives a very natural finish and just evens out the skin tone very much, which I love about this foundation. Anyway, I do also just want to apologize for not posting and not really telling anything about where I went or that I wasn't going to post, but it really wasn't planned at all. And I did try to post a little bit on Instagram stories here and there, but life happens, and I hope that I will be able to be more active on YouTube and Instagram going on forward right now, because I've been missing using all my makeup and sharing my love of makeup here. It is still a huge passion of mine and I just love chatting about it and sharing about it and talking about it with you. And that being said, I have kind of gotten a new hobby too, because I've gotten really into perfumes or fragrances, and I think that's something a lot of people have been getting more into the past year. So if that's something you're interested in, I'd love to try to make some videos about that too. I do have a few ideas, so if that's something you would like to see on my channel, I would love to hear. And here we have a little visitor in the back. That is Obi, who had broken his leg, but he's perfectly healthy now. I think that's it for the foundation, so I'll add a little bit of concealer. So the concealer I've been using the most lately is the Glam Shop Under Eye Concealer, because I don't really conceal anything else other than my under eyes. So I just add a little bit of it. I don't usually use that much. This is more than enough. So I'll just add about that amount on both sides. And I've lately just been using this brush that I have from the Norwegian brand Makeup Mecca, and I just like to buff it onto the under eye area. But lately I've been thinking a lot about YouTube and like which direction do I want to go with my channel, and I do want to maybe post at least one video each week. And just be a bit more consistent again, so I'll have to just find a routine that works for me. But I'm all open for ideas to what kind of videos do you actually want to see from me, because I'm kind of tired of just buying the new stuff all the time and spending my money on makeup when I have so much makeup in my collection. So I would love to hear if you have any ideas to what you want to see on my channel. Now before this creases, I'm just going to set straight under my eyes. I'm using the powder from Romand Global. It's called Better Than Finish, and it's just in the translucent color. So I just tap it on, and I do like to use a puff for this too, but they get dirty so quickly and I find it such a hassle to wash them. So I'll just rather use a brush. But now that's usually the only place that I use any powder on. I might use a little bit just here in the creases of the nose, but other than that, oh well, I do also add a little bit here. But other than that, I just don't really mattify my face unless I'm using powder products afterwards. But the bronzer that I've been using the most lately is from Salt New York. And I have bought so much from them since, or during the Black Friday sale I think it was, or sometime after that. But I've been using this one. I think it's such a neutral color and I just love to apply it with a finger. I just use this much and I just tend to make sure, of course, that my hair is out of the way, and then I just dab it on like this. And then I go more up and down, because then I get it where I want it the most, and I just kind of follow the feeling of my cheekbone to find where to actually put it. So I just blend it out here, and I just love the natural look of these products on the skin. And you can see you really don't need much of this. I also sometimes put it a little bit more around the perimeter of my face as well, just to get a bit more of a bronzed look because I'm very pale. Now, I was lucky enough to get the Glaminatrix liquid blushes, and this is the shade Lavish, and it's just such an earthy and beautiful color. I think it's my favorite, and it's also very deep, so it fits any kind of skin tone, I would guess, even mine, which is very pale. I just make sure I add only a tad. You see, this is not much at all. And again, I do prefer to blend it out with my fingers, so before it dries down I just try to disperse it a bit and blend it into the products that I have underneath, just like that, I think. Now, I haven't really been using a lot of highlighter lately, but if I do, it's usually either this one from Salt New York, or I use one of my Glam Shop ones, because those are just so beautiful and natural. But I'm just gonna put on some mascara and see if I'll do lashes or not, and find a lipstick that I want to wear to this look. I'm probably gonna go for something warm or brown, I think. I'm just gonna start with my lip liner now, and I'm using my, I think it's Guerlain Divinora. It's just a deep burgundy lip liner. I'm trying to not use too much because I don't want it to be too deep of a lip color. And using a very deep lip liner is of course very smart if you want to make your lips look fuller, because it creates kind of like a shadow. And now I'm taking Made It from Proper Beauty. I haven't used this in so long, but it's such a beautiful like orangey brown shade. Just like that. I just blended it a bit together with my lips. And the mascaras I've been using lately, I did receive this one in PR from What's Up Beauty, and it's honestly such a great mascara. The only thing I've noticed with it is that it transfers a bit on my lower lash line, or like my under eye area, and I think it has to do with my concealer, and that's probably the issue, because it doesn't transfer anywhere up here, just underneath. But I've just been adding a bit of my Romand Global mascara. I think they only have one, a Han All Fix mascara, but I'll just add a little bit of that right here because that's probably what's going on my under eye. And it has been working, so I'm just gonna curl my lashes and put on that What's Up Beauty mascara first. And I have been using a lash serum from a Norwegian brand called Glow, and it's working very well to me. So I have been getting a little bit of longer lashes lately, which I really like. Oh, and this mascara is almost done. I feel like I have to place an order for a new one once it's empty, because I've been enjoying it so much. I did also apply the Romand mascara now, and that is how it's looking with just mascara, and I think for me lately that's been more than enough. I never use lashes on a regular basis anyway, so I'm probably not gonna use any lashes today. But I will be taking that light iridescent shade on the inner corner. It's not something I've been doing lately, but I just feel like doing it today because I want to go a little bit extra and colorful and sparkly. So I do appreciate a highlighted inner corner. So I think that's actually the look. So I'll try to show it off with some different lighting so you can see all the shifts of the multichrome. And yeah, I'll turn on some music. That was the close-up of this look, and as I said in the beginning, I've been using this palette quite a bit and I really enjoy the formulas in here. The shimmers are so sparkly and beautiful, and you have such a variety with the mattes, and I just think it's a great color story. And also the way the brand markets themselves with Instagram and just showing a whole bunch of looks. I just think it's so refreshing that she posts so many looks with the palettes before releasing them, so we can really see the potential of the palette. Anyway, this video has probably been a little bit long. I don't usually do a lot of get ready with me, so I hope that it wasn't too long or too boring. but at least you got an explanation for where I've been and what I've been doing with my channel, and hopefully I will continue to post a bit from here on now, because I do really want to get back to being here regularly and just connecting with you guys on YouTube. And I do actually have some interesting stuff from Makeup Beauty Shop and Glam Shop coming maybe in the next 1 or 2 weeks, so I'm very excited to show those things off and get to try them. But I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for staying here if you're a subscriber and you haven't left already, because I know I'm not the best at posting regularly, especially the last half year. So thank you for being here, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye!